Are we live across all platforms? It looks like we are live. What is going on, everybody? RogersBase here with my live reaction to One Piece manga chapter 1116. I am supremely excited today for a multitude of reasons. Not just due to the fact that I've heard from literally everybody and I know that this chapter is really, really good, but also for the first time ever, we are live across every single platform. We are live on Twitch. We are live now on my VOD channel for a horizontal stream. And of course, we are live right here on my main channel with the vertical stream, as we've been doing for the past month and as has been working quite well. I'm excited for you guys to see all the new things that I adjusted to the stream. It's going to be great. But without any further ado, let me log on to Manga Plus, because it says here we got a new chapter. 1116 Inner Conflict. It says up here, new chapter arrives on Sunday, June 16th. That's fine. I don't mind that we're going on break. Summer Games Fest is coming up. We're good. Here we are. One Piece manga chapter 1116. This one is called Inner Conflict, and we're looking at Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 6. Otsuru gave me medicine and dumplings, and you can actually see in the background of this one, the sumo wrestler dude that Luffy beat up in the beginning of the arc seems to have grown his top knot back, and he's welcome back. I don't know why. They should have just knocked him out and thrown him out of there. He should have been exiled from Wano country. I don't know why he's here, but this is also very sweet. Also kind of cute that the little bundle that she's given Yamato kind of looks like a devil fruit a little bit. But, of course, we got to move on to bigger and better things. We got to move on to the chapter, so here we go. The weapons that sank the world into the sea are still lurking around here somewhere, and you can see people questioning all of this, what Vegapunk is saying. Emu looking up at a picture that looks like Vivi. We're looking good right from the very beginning. The war from 800 years ago is still ongoing? Where? How could any of them still be alive? How can this war still be ongoing if no one knows about it? And you can see, again, one person knows about it. Emu knows about it. And you get the scream, explain, Vegapunk. And I don't know if that's meant to be the people or that's meant to be Emu. I think it could be read as everything. Everyone wants him to explain. Emu's like, explain why you said this. The people are like, explain what's going on. It's going to be great. All right, here we go. Sadly, let's see. You've got the Vivi bounty poster. Ooh. Oh, it's a missing poster. Excuse me. Wait a minute. And Karoo crying in the background, too. Also, I know I said Vivi earlier when I said Emu, look at the Vivi poster. You guys know this by this point. If you've been watching my streams, you know how much I believe the Vivi and Lily, spitting image theory, the idea that Lily spread the poneglyphs using Kuma's devil fruit in the past. That's how the poneglyphs all went every which way. Now Emu wants Vivi because she looks like Lily and because things are lining up and he can see his demise is imminent. Shout out, by the way, to Lonely Mage, who just became a member. Let us continue as you see Igaram crying over this wanted poster and Karoo in the back. Cobra. Oh, the funeral of Cobra. We're going to see this. Beautiful, by the way, that it's in this cool Egyptian-looking thing. I owe you all my deepest apologies, but I need you to understand why I'm already liking this, that we're seeing Alabaster. Bro! Chaka and Pell. I wanted to create the energy that would power the industry of the world to come. And though it is still incomplete, I have at last reached a practical stage of my life's work. The mother flame, a fire that never goes out, an energy source that will one day in the future enrich the lives of all people all over the world. And you can see some people getting excited about this. Unfortunately, one little piece of that flame has been stolen. The fault of this lies entirely with me. Meanwhile, you got the Marines like cipher poles in the center of the island. The flames are too intense. We can't get there. Great shot. Great shot of the billowing smoke coming out of the Vegapunk facility. There's some major shaking going on up there. What happened, Edison? I'm kind of stunned by this too. This is crazy. The basement lab of the Labophase and the cipher pole agents fell down here. And now I can't send more island clouds up to the Straw Hats. You got some of them going, fell down. What do you mean fell down? One of those crazy 5 elders is headed your way. Please, Stussy, you gotta run. Stussy, please, be safe. May I free Kaku, Edison? You better free Kaku. They might be punished for their actions, but I won't let him go after the Straw Hats, and I know the first thing he'll do if he's released. I get it, Stussy. Oh, I'm looking down on the page. You can see Kaku completely shocked, like... I get it, Stussy. I'm sorry for putting you through this. He was a friend, wasn't he? I'm sorry for making you betray that friendship. Of course, they bonded while she was in Cypher Pole, I understand. But you still went ahead and saved us. I know you wish you could have been true to both. That kind of inner conflict is a calling card of humanity, Stussy. That's right. She's a real human. She has a reason to live, even if Stella is dead. You're fine. Follow your heart and do whatever it takes to survive. Thank you, Edison, for allowing my girl, Stussy, to live. She's crying. She says, I will. Very good. Very, very good. Around 2 weeks after the theft of the flame, the sky over Lulusia shone with a powerful light. Lulusia? And the kingdom vanished without a trace, according to reports. After that was when I observed the first signs of the worldwide quakes. As a scientist, and with utmost pride in its development, I can tell you this. Was that an ancient weapon? Oh my God, dude. Oh! I looked down on the page slightly and I saw King Elizabello sitting there. Oh, bro. We are really seeing everybody. Also, is that the girl from Lulusia there? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm hopping all over the place. I'm excited. There's some good stuff here. I'm sorry. Let me continue. As a scientist and with the utmost pride in its development, I can tell you this. This guy's shocked, saying that was an ancient weapon. This is the girl from Lulusia. You mean someone did that to Lulusia? Here we go. Nothing but the mother flame could have created so much energy. Meanwhile, Elizabello is answering this, saying Lulusia is gone? Not to my knowledge, Majesty. Well, you better go and find out. Meanwhile, the little tactic guy, what was his name? The chubby-looking Dr. Eggman dude. He's like, yes, sir. He's off following Elizabetho orders. Okay. The flame that I created was used to activate an ancient weapon. Oh, man. Doing the deep bow and everything. Vegapunk looking like the heads of Sony after they announced the PS3 is $599 US. Here we go. Vegapunk is saying, I know nothing about who might have carried this out, but the results speak for themselves. My actions have led, either directly or indirectly, to the loss of many human lives. Again, he's having an Oppenheimer moment, struggling with his creation and what it actually did to the world and what it unleashed and what it could have actually done, again, directly or indirectly. This fact weighs most deeply upon my soul. And for that, I am so, so sorry. And again, he's doing the deep bow. I have inadvertently proven that the man-made disaster that once sank the world is possible again. I like already that all the people within Baltimore are like, no, Vegapunk, it's not your fault. Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. What? Does that mean Pluton is, and you see a little ... Shh. Hush, Lord Momonosuke. Shh. In the past, there were 3 ancient weapons, and Joy Boy attempted to preserve them for the future. Okay, we got Shirahoshi. Why would he do that for such dangerous things? Have we not sunk far enough? Who is the true evil here, and who fights the good fight? The day will come when all of the answers are laid bare. Meanwhile, Sengoku chowing down on crackers. Also interesting, of course, that they're showing Shirahoshi and they're showing Crocodile, with Crocodile's ties to wanting Pluton, with Shirahoshi being Poseidon. Very interesting. So Suru is yelling at Sengoku for eating all these crackers and about choking. And again, this is also good, too, that they're seeing this with Pluton and you see Momo there. In the past, there were 3 ancient weapons and Joy Boy attempted to preserve them for the future. Why would he do that for such dangerous things? Have we not sunk far enough? Who is the true evil here, and who fights the good fight? The day will come when all of these answers are laid bare. That day is coming quick. We are in the final saga, baby. And I warn you, that moment will happen when we reach the very precipice of the world's drowning. The will of the drowned, the will of deep, bro, here we go. The void century is still ripe with mystery. However, there are some who have learned the truth. Oh, man. I'm looking down. I see the Marine headquarters and Akainu smoking. He's got smoke billowing out of both sides of his mouth, looking like Charizard X, Mega Charizard X, saying, "You're really gonna tell them everything, huh, Vegapunk?" Crushing this Denden Mushi. Literally so angry that the dude is putting armament hockey on his hands. Coating his hands in armament hockey, bro. The king of the pirates' crew. And then oh my God, bro. Oh my God. And the people are going, what? Pirates? Why? And Crocus is like, well, obviously we saw the One Piece. Obviously, Laboon looks shocked here. So obviously, again, the king of the pirates' crew has learned the truth about the Void Century. Again, Crocus, though, being dead silent, sitting with his arms like this, with his glasses all fogged up. Laboon doesn't know what the heck is going on. Don't worry, Laboon. Brook will eventually tell you when you two reunite. Don't worry about it. They're going to find the One Piece. Brook will tell you everything is aligning. Go watch that stream I did a couple weeks ago where I charted the end of One Piece because things are lining up really nicely. Why are the secrets of the world in the hands of pirates? We are all in terrible danger, and you could see the people revolting. But wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, Stella. What doesn't make sense, York? How did you know that I stole the Mother Flame from you? Probably because you're a piece of his brain. I stopped synchronizing. You couldn't have known. And I know you're terrible at lying and acting. I mean, you were truly shocked when you found out. And you were getting a little flashback of Vegapunk going, York, this was all you're doing. You received the information about Lulucia and then observed the data? What the hell does that mean? When? The timeline doesn't add up. Did you know about the government's response? If that's the case, I've been wrong all along. And meanwhile, you're getting that great shot of the sandworm right here. Oh my gosh, dude. If that's the case, I've been wrong all along. He wouldn't do anything as tepid as just hiding the transmission transponder snail. And once again, sandworm sucking the people up. Gorosei. Oh my God! Bro, we called it! We said this in the last stream. Oh my gosh. When I said last stream, I told you guys, as soon as I read that donation message, I was like, this is it. I was like, this is it. This is true. Whoever said that, go back to watch the stream we did last week. As soon as that donation theory came through, I was like, dude, you spoiled the next chapter. You must have. I believe it. Not that they obviously intentionally spoiled. This was far beyond or far before spoilers came out. This was like last Sunday. This is back when I was in Chicago for Combo Breaker. But somebody said in the live chat that they believed the Denden Mushi was inside of the robot. And the second that I heard that, I thought back to when we saw Vegapunk for the first time. And he's like crawling inside of the robot. Obviously, he placed it there. I was like, bro, you spoiled the next chapter. That's it. You're done. That's it. That's the answer. This is the answer right here. This is it. This is it. Oh, that's so good. Because again, I didn't want to say anything. I'm sorry. I'm getting excited. Let me finish the chapter and then I'll talk. I'll bring it up during my review portion. This is a solid chapter so far. I'm loving this. This is good. I'll bring up what I was going to say when we're done, though. Let me get through the chapter. Because I don't want to... Let me just get through. Let me get through. So she says, Gorosei, I know where the transponder snail is. You're certain. Absolutely certain. I'm Vegapunk too, you know. The transmission transponder snail is under the protection, and you can see the giant robot walking, nothing's working on this, of the Iron Giant in the Labrio phase. And then boom, boom, you see the eyes glowing, the giant marching. Great shot too of Vegapunk looking up. When they learned all of the true history, why did they drift apart without telling anyone? Why didn't they act on it? Hey, Ray. What? You've had too much to drink. It's not like you to be this wiped out. Okay, so you got Rayleigh drunk at Shaggy's bar. I'm just an old man now. And Vegapunk, you're telling him too much. Don't be a fool. Old folks should keep our secrets. Don't, and you can see him clicking his glass at the bottom. Don't rob the youngins of all the fun. Dude is drooling on the table, passed out on the bar, saying, right, Roger? Was he drinking himself silly from the moment that Vegapunk said this because he knew it was all going to lead to this and the world was about to change and that everyone was going to know that the Roger Pirates know the truth? And clearly some dude's beaten up and bloody that Shaggy's pulling out of the bar. Don't rob the youngins of all the fun. And you see the clinking of the glass. Right, Roger. Right. To be continued. One Piece 1116 end. I'm going to say this right at the very beginning. This is a 10 out of 10. This is the easiest 10 out of 10 I've ever given. I feel like these last 3 or 4 have all been 10 out of 10. This is a 10 out of 10. This is like game-changing, world-shattering, story-defining. This is one of those chapters that people are going to come back to. Dude, the thing I keep scrolling down to, that shot of Akainu with the smoke billowing, coming out of his mouth, incredible. Where he's like, you really are going to tell them everything. Now, again, we got a break next week. That's fine. I don't mind that there's a break next week. Summer Games Fest is coming up. That's A-okay with me. I got no worries about that. My heart is not broken over the break. This is absolutely a solid chapter to have before we go on break. The thing I wanted to say a couple pages ago when I first brought it up, shout out again to all the people who are watching across all platforms. I know this is new, but clearly this is working because I've got the members. I'm seeing the super chats and everything on the YouTube side. I'm seeing the chat horizontally with both of the other chats on the VOD channel and also on the Twitch channel. Fantastic. Loving to see this. Like seeing everybody across all platforms. This is fantastic. Everyone can watch the stream how they want to watch it. The thing I wanted to say earlier on, this is on, let me actually open up the Viz version so I can get the exact page. This is on page 12. When York said that the transponder snail is now under the protection of the Iron Giant within the Fabio phase, I was losing it. Not just because, again, my chat totally called this last week, because I've got one of the best chats on the planet, and because they're clearly reading this, but the other thing about this that I love is I feel like when that was pointed out to me in the chat, that was one of those things where I thought instantly, man, if it isn't this, I'm going to be upset. Not angry upset, but I would have been like, oh, man, because that lines up so perfectly with everything that has happened in the story of Egghead right now. You know what I mean? It's lined up flawlessly. So I am very, very happy that did end up turning out to be the case. Thank you, by the way, to Ace, who just donated. Greatly appreciate that. Nakama. I'll read out super chats in a little bit. I see a lot of people coming through with their super chat donations and stuff like that. Greatly appreciate that. Also, one thing I want to say, if you are watching on the horizontal stream, do not super chat. If you're watching on the horizontal stream on the second channel, don't super chat because I can't see those super chats. If you're going to super chat, do it either on Twitch or do it on YouTube if you're sending theories or something, because I won't be able to see the VOD channel ones. So I just want to let you guys know that right now. I'm at the very beginning before we start getting into it, because I see people already starting to do their donation things. Don't do it because I won't be able to see it on the VOD channel. Only do it here on the main channel or on Twitch. Anyway, the other thing that I really, 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 really love about this is that shot. This is on page 8, 9, and 10. When you get Vegapunk explaining the ancient weapons, and that you see coinciding with the realizations about Pluton, both Momo and Kinemon, who are obviously in Wano country, where we now know after Wano, that is where Pluton is. It's in Old Wano. and Crocodile. Because again, something that I brought up in that stream that I did a couple weeks ago is that more and more, despite people somehow writing him off or saying, oh, he was beaten pre-time skip by Luffy or whatever, it is very obvious to me and very clear as someone who's read this series for a long time that Oda is setting up Crocodile for bigger and better things and that he's going to be a major player at the very, very, very end of the story. We get his bounty alongside Mihawk, alongside the Yonko, alongside all these other characters, right? He is going to be critically important. I've been saying this, I will say this until my face turns blue. Crocodile's final opponent, concurrently with Zoro and Mihawk, will be Sanji. If you want my full explanation for that, that is in my stream I did a couple weeks ago, titled Charting Oda's Course at the End of Laugh Tale. Crocodile and Sanji, there's too many things tying them together. The stuff with Ivankov, the sand, famine versus feast, all that stuff, go check out that video. I talk at length about it for like half an hour. I'm not going to take up time on the stream today talking about it, but trust, that is going to be happening. So again, love seeing that in this chapter. I also find it very interesting that Sengoku is just chowing down on these crackers, because if Akainu knows something, which I truly believe he does, because Akainu is like, you're really telling them everything, Vegapunk, then you know damn well Sengoku does. Because Sengoku was, prior to this, right, Sengoku was the fleet admiral. So anything that Akainu would know, Sengoku would know. And people will eventually probably find out that Sengoku knew some of this stuff and still held the status quo for as long as he did. So this man is sweating. You could see the sweat coming down his brow. You could see him chomping down on the crackers. Fire, bro. Absolute fire. I also love that bit with Elisabello, seeing the other kingdoms again. Also interesting that they're like, not to my knowledge, Lulusi is gone. Go ahead and find out. I wonder what the tie is there beyond, just being one of the other kingdoms within the world government, if there's a closer relationship there. I also love all this stuff with Stussy and with Kaku. And Stussy struggling with, what do I do now that Stella's gone? Because I am an artificial human, right? I don't know even if I have the same humanity as all these other people. So with Stella gone, I have no purpose. While at the same time, not wanting to abandon her friend that she made while she was a double agent within Cypherpol, and grappling with that and saying, look, I have to save Kaku. Sorry for putting you through this. Edison gives her the okay. Kaku obviously, if Lucci temporarily was fighting alongside Luffy earlier in the arc, obviously I feel like Kaku can be redeemed in some way. Also, where is Lucci right now? Where is this man? I thought for sure if we were going to see that, we would see a little bit of clip of that. But he's just straight up out of here. We don't know where the heck Rob Lucci is. But I do like the fact that, again, Edison gives Stussy that approval, saying it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. You're all good. Go ahead and save your friend. And that he also, the way that scene wraps up to so perfectly, when he also says that inner conflict, like the friends you made while you were in Cypherpol, your colleagues, and then also your tie to Vegapunk, having that conflict, that back and forth, realizing that everything's shades of gray and nobody's pure evil and nobody is pure good. That's a calling card of humanity. That is such a good line, especially because that line is said by Edison, who is a robot, who obviously is part Vegapunk, who is actually a human. But it's like, it being told to her via a robot, I think is very, very nice. The parallels in this chapter are quite good. The art is also very, very good in this chapter. I would say probably one of the best looking chapters we've seen in the arc. That shot of the Iron Giant completely shaded out, walking through the palm trees completely on fire, gorgeous. I'm also seeing Benji in my live chat saying that not only was this one of the best lines in the chapter, but also I think the death flags are waving for Stussy. Please don't say that. Please, I don't want Stussy to die. Please. Please, I beg of you, I don't want Stussy to die. Please, 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 please. Please. I don't want Stussy to die. Please. Stussy's too cool. I like Succubusy. I want to see Succubusy again. I want to see her involved in Final War. I want to see that redemption. I want to see her right there with Kaku. I want Kaku to get a good ending. I want him to be with Succubusy. Things are going to work out, all right? Don't tell me death flags are waving for Stussy. I don't believe it. I don't want it. No Stussy death, please and thank you. Would it be heart-wrenching if it happened? Absolutely. Would I be crying? Absolutely. Do I want it to happen? No. Never. No way. Jose, absolutely not. No. Great. Also, I didn't even talk about the beginning of this chapter, dude. The stuff with Emu looking up at Lily's portrait, juxtaposed with the Vivi missing poster that Igaram and Karu were looking at. Because again, we just saw Vivi. Like, was that last chapter where she shuts up Morgans while she's chilling with Morgans and Wapple? We just saw her. He doesn't know where she is. I think that little bit right there with the missing poster and everything in Karu is setting up what I've been saying, what Randy's been saying, what Chanceel's been saying, what a lot of people in the community have been saying. That's setting up her coming back into the story again very soon. Even if it's not in Elbaf, it's happening during Final War. She's coming back. She's getting Kuma's Devil Fruit. I'm telling you, she's going to be, I feel it in my bones. This is like a Sanji Crocodile type thing. She's coming back. She's coming back. She'll be the spinning image. She'll come face to face with Emu. It's going to happen. I know it. I feel it in my bones. I love to, looking at that at page 2 and 3, that funeral of Cobra in that gorgeous looking, because that's not Alabasta Palace. That looks like something else. That looks like the inside of a pyramid or something. It looks really nice where they're having the funeral for Cobra. And then we're also seeing Chaka and Pell there. And I'm curious, like, why... Obviously, I understand why they paired the I owe you all my deepest apologies line with Cobra's thing, because everything's all tying together, of course, so I get that. But why are we seeing, I wanted to create the energy that would power the industry of the world to come, and though it's still incomplete, why are we seeing Pell and Chaka there? Oda has a reason for having the characters in the same boxes with where the text is. We've seen this. We've talked about this for 3 weeks in a row. He's doing this. Why is he doing that there? Dude, I love this. I also, now that I'm looking at it, this feels like a short chapter. I was reading it on, what's it called? It's Manga Plus, right? I was reading it on Manga Plus vertically because it wasn't up on Viz yet when I started to stream. But like, this feels short looking at the Viz version. There's really only 6 pages with a couple double page spreads and that we're out of there. But it didn't feel like that. It felt like there was a lot of stuff going on. It felt like they absolutely packed this chapter with stuff. Man, oh man, oh man. I also see Gene in my Twitch chat saying I wouldn't be that shocked if he ended up washed up on Elbaf. Who do you mean, Rob Lucci? You think Rob Lucci ended up washed up on Elbaf? That would be kind of crazy if that's where he ended up. Man. All right, well, you know what I got to do. I got to see what James did for the thumbnail. And also, this is a great opportunity to show you guys one of the things that I set up for my co-streams, whether you want to watch vertically or horizontally or on Twitch or whatever. This is a great opportunity to show this. Oh, this is gorgeous, by the way, James. Gorgeous. Check this out. People were saying, if you do the vertical streams, how are we going to see James's beautiful artwork? I got you. Don't worry about a thing. Check this out. Boom. Check this out. I got it on stream right there. Of course, by the way, James chose to draw Rayleigh. Of course. I think this is also a really good option for the thumbnail because it really doesn't reveal too much about the chapter. It doesn't do Vegapunk again, which I know when I was hanging out with James at Combo Breaker, he was kind of complaining, being like, man, I had to draw Vegapunk so many times over the course of the story arc. I want to draw something else. Technically, he's already drawn Rayleigh once, if you guys remember, during the Amazon Lily, Blackbeard, Kobe chapter, he drew Rayleigh. But it was part that was ended up cut off of the main thumbnail because we had to cut the thumbnail down. Some of you might remember this if you go back to that old chapter review. We had to cut the thumbnail down a little bit because he drew Blackbeard in the foreground holding what appeared to be Hancock's severed head, which was not the case. It was just that he was grabbing Hancock by the neck, but it looked like it would easily get demonetized. This is a great, great, great choice. This pairs really nicely, too, with all the stuff we got in this chapter about Roger's crew being the ones to know about the truth. I love that. The hair, by the way. Like, can we talk about how James did the hair here? The lighting on the hair, the little sheen on his glasses, the glasses looking a little cloudy, him passed out with a little bit of his rubbery cheek laying down on the ground. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Satwik is saying, with this thumbnail, it's official. James, you must be working part-time as a mangaka for Oda. Your line work on this is phenomenal. Very good shape language. Dude, my live chat is telling you all the stuff that I'm telling you as well. You're a goat, James. You did an incredible, incredible, incredible job on this. I love this. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Dude, what a good chapter. I also see someone saying, do you think that we'll see Rayleigh fight again? Or do you think it's over? I do think we'll see Rayleigh fight again. I think it'll probably be Final War when we see him fight again, because as I've talked about before, I feel like Final War is when all the cameos for all the other characters are going to end up coming back. I think that's when we're going to end up seeing, all the side characters that we didn't see during the reaction shots or the ones that we did. I think we're going to end up seeing pretty much all the former villains, like even the East Blue people. I think they're all coming back. I think Rayleigh's going to be coming back. I think you need to have all the old heads there, especially with Rayleigh and Sengoku in this chapter, like sort of being aware of more than what the general public is aware of. I think both of them have to be present in some capacity. On the side of good, though. Like, I don't see... Well, I don't know. I think Sengoku would be on the side of good because of what we saw with Corazon and with Law, and with sort of like the Marines he's chosen to ally himself with. But at the end of the day, he used to be Fleet Admiral. So I could still maybe see him siding with Akainu. But I could also see a type of situation in which Sengoku is like, Akainu, you're going about things the wrong way. When I was Fleet Admiral, it was this way, but now you're taking things too far. You're endangering the lives of regular citizens, and I could see them maybe having a clash. Maybe. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. It really is. It's tough. I think the answer is yes. That Sengoku will be on the side of the good Marines by the end of the story. And I do think we will see Rayleigh again in some capacity fighting within Final War. But beyond that, I don't know. I'm not really sure. You guys can let me know down in the comments. Let me know. Real quick, I want to open this up. Once again, James, you did a phenomenal job with the art this week. I want to open this up. I want to pull up Streamlabs. I want to see some of these super chat theories. I want to see what you guys thought about this chapter. I am very, very excited to see what you're saying. Once again, great work, James. Also, let me pull this up here. Here we go, Streamlabs. Let's open this up. And let's see what is going on and what people are saying. Also, I love that this is showing me all the Twitch things and all of the, what's it called? All the Twitch donation messages and then also all the super chats as well. This is great. All right, first super chat. This one came from Abhi saying, make sure to check chapter 220, page 5. The picture that Sanji holds looks like the picture behind Imu. 220. Are you talking about when they were underwater and they saw the image within the boat? I think I know what you're talking about. I'm going to look real quick anyway. I'm going to pull it up. Chapter 220. This is like right before... let me look this up. Hold on. Give me a second. Yeah, okay. I was off by 1. That is pretty good that I'm, within one volume, able to figure out where certain things are. This is great. 220, you guys said? Volume 24, 220. Okay. So we're going to look this up. Look at the image that Sanji is looking at, the picture. It looks like the image that Imu was looking at. The image Imu's looking at is very clearly... let me look again. I don't know if I agree. Their hair is slightly different. I could maybe see a little bit of that. Also, I see James saying, do you own every volume? Can you bribe Viz into giving me a copy? Dude, hit up God's Will. I do own every volume, though, yes. All right. So this is volume 24. This is the image that chat was bringing up. Right there. You could see there's like braids in this woman's hair. I don't think that is the same image, because I think the image that Imu is looking at is very clearly Lily. Very clearly Like, without a shadow of a doubt, that's Lily. Because you also get the parallel right there. Not only do their faces look similar, I know it's hard because Oda sometimes draws people looking the same way, but you see the hair down a little bit, and then immediately, the very next scene that we see is the thing with Vivi. So yeah, I think the braids make this character stand out from whoever Imu is looking at. Again, I think Imu's looking at Lily. I think the braids are somebody else. Like when we went back and talked about this, I thought that this shot, I'm pretty sure we talked about this during Whole Cake Island. I thought that shot was meant to be sort of like a little tease of Sanji's mother, of Vinsmoke Sora, and him thinking about his mom in that moment. Didn't we talk about that during the Vinsmoke Sora chapters? I feel like we did. I know that was like 5-6 years ago at this point. But I almost certainly remember having a discussion about those two somewhat being together. The face, though, I also don't see it. The face on the image that we're looking at here, and I only say this because I've been reading One Piece for so long, and I can somewhat tell the distinction between Oda's styles, despite how similar characters are looking. The face he's making the character make here looks more like a Robin than a Vivi. That looks like one of Robin's relatives more than a Vivi. That doesn't look like Vivi. Vivi's got the wider eyes, doesn't usually smile in that capacity. I don't think that. Again, feel free to disagree with me, but I don't think that's the case. By the way, James said, I wrote artist notes for this one, and you didn't get the chance to read them. They're not interesting anyway, though. Well, I got to pull them up. Give me a sec, James. I didn't know you made artist notes this week. James said, I almost drew stuff. Here, I'm going to pull this up while you're talking about this. Can I show both on the stream? I guess it's cut off a little bit, but either way, I'll read it. He said, I almost drew Stussy, but then this scene with Rayleigh really caught my attention. My drawing looks like he's dying a little bit. Someone's going to see this thumbnail and think that Rayleigh dies this chapter. I don't think anybody's going to think that Rayleigh's dead. Don't worry about it, James. I don't know what else to say. This is an amazing chapter, James. I agree. Couldn't agree more. Totally agree. I think it's an amazing chapter. Great work, James. Great work. Once again. I'm glad you wrote artist notes. I always like when you do artist notes, but you haven't done them in a while. So I didn't even think of looking in the folder. I just typed in the folder 116 so I didn't get spoiled, and there you go. Lovely. Well, thank you once again, James. Appreciate it. Let me go back real quick and read out some more of these, because again, we got a lot of these super chats. We got a lot of these donations. We got a lot of people coming through. Ace2532 donated and said, if Rayleigh is back in Sabaody, then I have to ask, where is Boa? She clearly can't be left alone after what happened with Blackbeard in the Navy. So where did she go? Well, I'm assuming you just answered your own question. I think she's in Sabaody. Because remember, when we saw Boa the last time, we also saw Shaki. So I feel like you just answered your own question. I think she's in Sabaody, which would also make a lot of sense and would also be kind of cool to see her hiding out there right under the nose of the world government. I think that's cool. Yeah, I totally think she's in Sabaody. Because we saw all of the Boa people with Shaki and with Rayleigh after Rayleigh saved them. And now also we know the stuff with Granny Nyan being a member of the Rocks Pirates, and that's probably going to come into play at some point. And obviously Rayleigh was present there in God Valley because they had the fight with, Roger's crew and the Marines. So I think it's all coming together. It's all coming together. All right, let's keep reading. This one comes from Anime Gamer, who super chatted and said, I actually think the One Piece is a map to the structural weakness of the Red Line. That's why I think Goldie Roger left. You need the Nika Nika no Mi to use the map. Interesting. I don't hate that. That the map is the structural weakness of the Red Line. I don't hate that. The only thing that makes me disagree with that is I think it can't be something that would... Well, let me go back real quick. Because I was going to say I don't think it could be something that is directly related to Final War. But realistically, you could take out Imu. You could take out the Gorosei. We could have Final War and have the race to Laugh Tale. And have during Final War the revelation that taking down the Red Line will bring peace to the world and create the One Piece. I don't hate the idea that it's a map. and that you need the Nika Nika no Mi to use the map. I don't hate that. I don't necessarily know how that lines up with the we were too soon thing, unless Roger was aware that the Nika fruit was with the government. There's some, he has to have been, if he was laughing and there was a tie to Nika in some way, that would mean that Roger needs to know about the Nika Nika no Mi, which I suppose he would know because they found out the truth about the Void Century. And the way that Vegapunk is talking about all this, see, I also wonder, because again, Vegapunk doesn't know all the answers. In my brain, the poneglyphs will reveal the answer. The Rio poneglyph tells all, which they needed to put together in order to get to the One Piece in the first place, in order to get to Laugh Tale. Yeah, destroying the red line and bringing the all blue. Exactly. I think you might be onto something, but I'm not totally buying it just yet. Alejandro Solis donated and said, prediction that next chapter we're going to get to see Scopper and the rest of the Roger pirates, and maybe those will be the next reactions. We'll see them regretting that they didn't do anything. I mean, that would be incredible. I would love to see that. I would absolutely, positively love to see that the last group of reaction shots to all of Vegapunk's information is none other than the remaining crew of the Roger pirates. I would love that. Though, to be fair, we already got Crocus and we already got Rayleigh here. So Scopper's kind of all that's left. Well, hold on. It would go kind of hard next chapter to see Scopper and Buggy and Shanks. And all three of their reactions to this would actually be a fire way to end all of this. Imagine if we see Scopper, Shanks, and Buggy's reactions next chapter, and that's what wraps all this up with Vegapunk. That would be cool, because again, Buggy and Shanks were not present and did not know what happened during the Void Century. They weren't there. So that again would be that other fire in the butt, that kick in the butt to go after the One Piece, as both of them have already said. Shanks is like, well, I think it's about time we go after the One Piece. Buggy finally made the determination, the declaration to his crew in the Cross Guild. I love it. I love that idea, that we're going to see Scopper's reaction next chapter. Would be very cool. Or even maybe some of the other people that are alive still that were present during that time period. Like maybe we see Shiki again or something would be kind of neat. I would love that. I would really, really love that. Let me continue. Oh, Joker's Fallen One donated saying the same thing that we talked about. Do you think the portrait of Lily is the same photo Sanji found of the ship? Looking back, she looks a little bit like Vivi, but it was a great chapter. We talked about that. I really don't think it's Vivi. I think we talked a little bit about the facial structure looking similar, but that's because Oda has same face syndrome with a lot of the women, so that's not a huge surprise. And again, looking at it more deeply, it looks more like a Robin style face than it does a Lily or Vivi style face. But thank you. Once again, Joker's Fallen One. Hollow Everest donated again and said, when the red line falls, Laboon will bring... Let me say this again. Hold on. Tripping over my words here. When the red line falls, Laboon will be the one to bring the Roger pirates into the final war. That would be fire. My only thing against that is that I feel like Brook and Laboon can't meet before the very end of the series and have their dream come true. As cool as it would be to have them riding in on Laboon in the final war, I guess Oda could always find a way to make Brook not present while Laboon is present, and then have that reunion happen later. Actually, I could totally see him doing that, being like, Brook, you just missed Laboon, and Brook's like, what? Oh, we're so close to the end. I'll see him again soon. So I could actually see that happening now that you say that. I see that happening. I talked through it in my head. I see it. Trevor said, by the way, did you see the tiny Chuji in the cover story? How do you think the Roger Pirates' knowledge and reveal affects Buggy and how he's going to be perceived going forward? Thank you very much. I think we talked a little bit about the fact that I do think we could end up seeing Buggy's reaction in the chapters to come to all of this news. How do I think the reveal that the Roger Pirates had knowledge of this is going to change how he's perceived? I mean, people know about Shanks and Buggy being on the crew. Buggy hasn't shut up about it. So I feel like I don't really think it's going to affect things that much because Buggy and Shanks are Yonko. I think if they were not Yonko at this point, if they were warlords or something, specifically Buggy, if he was still a warlord, I think then it would really change the world's perception of who he is. But again, to the world at large, they don't know the truth about Buggy. They see Buggy as the figurehead of the Cross Guild already. So it shouldn't be that big of a stretch if he was on the Roger Pirates and he's one of the Yonko and the head of the Cross Guild to the world at large, that he would have some knowledge about the Void Century. So I don't really think it's going to change the world's perception of Buggy that much at all. But what I will say, Trevor, is I did not see Chuji in the cover story. Let me look at that real quickly. Let me pull that up. Where is Chuji? I see the devil fruit little package. I know it's not a devil fruit. I'm calling it that. It's the little traditional Japanese style package. I see Yamato. I see the fat sumo dude and Suru. Where's Chuji? Where am I missing Chuji? Is he with the maid who was with the Beast Pirates? I'm not seeing him. Look left of Yamato. Oh, she's holding him. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Wow, I never would have made that out in a million years. Even with this full screen on my giant monitor, I would not have seen that. Let's zoom in a little bit. Oh, yeah, I would not have noticed that at all looking at the front page. Wow, that totally is. How funny. See, I love that about One Piece. Bring back all these smaller characters, and I love Chuji. The world loves Chuji. I like all the little animals that are in One Piece. I love Bocce. I stand Bocce. I love Chuji. I love them all. Absolutely love them all. All right, let me pull this up again here as well. Double check this, make sure everything is looking good. And let's read this other donation message. This next one comes from... Oh, Hollow Avarice again. Oh, okay. Who donated again and said, the final race to Laugh Tale that you were talking about, what are the odds that it ends up being a Davy back, the only arc that's not currently tied to a greater story, and a fight between the Straw Hats, the Blackbeard Pirates, and the Cross Guild? I mean, I talked about that a little bit during that stream I did a couple weeks ago. I completely agree. I think that could absolutely be the case. I think, again, all we know, or all I know at least, all I feel strongly about, right, is that the end arc, the Laugh Tale arc, will be a race between Cross Guild, Blackbeard, and Luffy, and everyone that's left after the final war. So it's, you got the Straw Hats, you got the Cross Guild, you got the Blackbeard Pirates. And that they'll probably end up being casualties of potentially all three during Final War, but during Laugh Tale, it's a race to the end. I am totally okay with a Davy back happening there. I still think a Davy back could potentially happen with Shanks' crew as a means to have the Straw Hats fight Shanks without having to actually fight him. But I also think it would be odd to have the Davy back happen at the very, very end of the story. Though I'm not writing it off entirely. I do think there is... What are the odds is your question, though. What are the odds? 50-50, I think. 50-50, it's an all-out fight between all of them. 50-50, it's a Davy back. I think 50-50. Probably even less than that, to be fair. Probably like 25%. Because there's going to be things happening in Elbaf and the Final War arcs that Oda's coming up with that we probably can't even predict right now, even given what we know in the story. But, I mean, I think they're not zero. And I think they're actually pretty strong. I would say 25. 25. Yeah. 25 for sure. Let me continue. Sam Fisher super chatted and said, I can't wait to read Vegapunk's message in Tankobon form. Yeah, that's actually a good thing to bring up. I do think it's going to be interesting to have Vegapunk, like his entire message, basically, if you look at the chapters that will be released in the next volume and the volume after. Like, let's pull up One Piece volumes really quickly under my content list. If we pull up One Piece volumes and we see the chapters that are not currently in Tankobon form. Here, in fact, I could show you guys this on the display. Let me pull this up. So if we scroll on down and see the chapters that aren't already in that form, scroll. So the next volume, 109, has a release date of July 4th, so 4th of July. So next month, we're already getting it. My assumption is that that volume, let's see, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My assumption is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12. So either we'll go up to 1,112 or 1,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This chapter was the one that ended with Saturn reaches the Sunny, Venus Joro reaches the Giant Warrior ship, Mars reaches Punk Records, okay. He finds the Denden Mushi with a minute left to the broadcast. This is it. If I had to make a hard read, this is going to be the chapter that the volume ends on. That is the perfect cliffhanger, because then that means the entire next volume, we're going to get Kuma's flashback, right? The remnants of Kuma's flashback, Kuma's life, and then all the lead up to Vegapunk's message. So that the next volume can focus on Vegapunk's message, the reaction to the world, and the repercussions moving into the next arc. So my hard read is that the next volume ends on, the next Tankobon volume, ends on 1,112. And that the one that'll come out at the end of the year, which will be volume 110, which also lines up with what I was thinking with the ending of Egghead moving into Elbaf. That would then mean 110 would be the transition volume. In the same way we saw the one at the end of Wano Country or the one with the Reverie and everything. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. Because then you get, after 112, you get the reveal of where the Denden Mushi is. You get Vegapunk's speech, which has already taken 3 full chapters. 4, actually, because 116 isn't even on here. So 4 full chapters. Plus, I think it's going to go on for another 2 more chapters, probably. Vegapunk talking and the message and people's reactions to it. The world at large's messages. And then also the Straw Hats and the other characters getting out of there. I think it's going to go at least another 2-3 chapters. And then we move into Elbaf. I mean, yeah, I think that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that donation, by the way. That was cool thing to point out. All right. Let me see this real quick. Open this back up. And where did I leave off with these super chat messages and with these theories? Sam Fisher said, I know this chapter was only 13 pages, but it was so dense that it really did feel like 19. Agree. D Gamer Calamity super chatted and said, I don't know if anyone mentioned this, but remember when we first met Rayleigh, he said to Robin, even if you knew the truth, there's really nothing that you can do. Well, again, at the time, Rayleigh, I imagine, didn't know that Luffy had the Nika fruit. I don't think he knew that at the time. I think he's probably aware of it now. So my guess is that he didn't know at the time, and that Luffy just being rubber didn't necessarily mean that he could do anything about it. Also, Rayleigh could have told them more, and Luffy said don't do it. That they want to go on the adventure. So, I don't know. I think Rayleigh knowing and the Roger Pirates knowing isn't really a big surprise to us as the reader. It's more than anything else a surprise to the world at large, hearing about this for the first time. Yeah. Let me see this. We have Clax super chatting and saying, to go off the anime gamers theory, it could be that the sea level needs to be a certain level for whatever the One Piece leads to. Hence the we were too soon line. The sea simply wasn't high enough. That's also kind of interesting too, that the sea level needed to raise in order to get to a certain thing. I mean, I still fully believe, now that I've thought about it more and more, that theory that O'Hara did that giant video on that got like millions of views, that was Uteron's original theory about the One Piece being under Eni's lobby and being under the sea. And Mary and the line about, I'm sorry I couldn't take you just a little bit further. Like, I've sort of, in my brain, if it doesn't end up being this great, but in my brain I have kind of resigned myself to the idea that the One Piece is underneath Eni's lobby. And that we're going to find that out during Final War. and that everything's going to come to an end, and X marks the spot. The only other thing being, even if it's not under Enies Lobby, it could be under Marijoa after the destruction of Fishman Island. Could be something there, too, with the X marking the spot of the red line and the 4 Cs. I could see that happening as well. Yeah, I don't know. I do like the idea, though, that maybe the sea level has something to do with it. And actually, you are not alone in saying that, because we have another super chat from X-Sir, playing a lot of Paper Mario 1000-Year Door very clearly with the X-Nut. What's up? X-Sir saying, we know that the sea is artificially rising, so maybe Roger laughed again because the sea wasn't high enough for them to act. So again, goes in line with what Clax was saying as well. Clearly, a lot of you in the chat are thinking that the sea level has something to do with it. I can always leave a poll, and you guys can vote on the poll in the chat and let me know what you think. But I do think there is a high likelihood of the sea level having something to do with all of this. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Obviously, we know the sea is going to rise no matter what, whenever Emu uses the ancient weapon and, you know, destroys these countries. But, yeah, I don't hate that idea that somehow, some way, the revelation of where the One Piece is tied with the sea level rising. My only thing against that, really, is why would Emu purposely be doing things to lead to the discovery of the One Piece? Because, again, Emu's whole thing is he wants this all to be secret. The world government and Emu, the Celestial Dragons, they're trying to cover this up. So Dave Johnson says, love the stream, by the way. Thank you very much. Thank you. I feel like, why would Emu be doing things that will, in some way, lead to the further discovery of the One Piece? And I know people in the chat are saying Emu might not know, but Emu knows. Emu's been present since the entire war. He knows that the sea level is rising. He knows the people of the world will drown. And that little by little, he's destroying the countries that aren't going the way that he wants things to go and are rebelling and things like that. So again, I don't believe that aspect of it, but I do think there could be something there with the sea levels. Could be the opposite as well. But then you can't, I don't know. Once the sea level has risen, you can't go back from that. I got to think about it more. Mukhtar Ahmed donated and said, if you notice, at the end of chapter 907, Shanks was talking about Joy Boy or maybe Zebek. Any thoughts? The end of chapter 907. Are you talking about the one where Shanks is like, I have a certain pirate to talk to you about? I think that's been clarified in story that he was talking about Blackbeard, right? Wasn't it? I assume that he was talking about Blackbeard. And that in some way, the Blackbeard correlation relates to Zebek. But I don't know. He could have been talking about Joy Boy, maybe. But I don't see a world in which Shanks, even though he was the one that had the fruit and Luffy ate the fruit, even if Shanks knew about the Nika fruit, I don't think he would want to tell the Gorosei. Yeah. Abi also said, can you stand up and show the shirt you're wearing? Of course. I actually got this in Japan when I was there last year from the Jump Shop. Isn't that sick? With all of Sanji's greatest hits. I love it. One of my favorite One Piece shirts. I wear this to the gym all the time, too. It's a good motivation to get swole like Sanji. Yeah. Yuri in my YouTube chat said, was it theorized before that the hole in Enies Lobby are remnants of the weapon used back in the 800-year war? I mean, I think the theory became more prevalent, the hole under Enies Lobby being directly related to the One Piece after Lulusia and the destruction of Lulusia and the hole that was in the ground looking exactly like Enies Lobby. And that whether or not the One Piece is actually there or Laugh Tale is there, the idea that a important part of the Void Centuried Ancient Kingdom is underneath Enies Lobby, was wiped out previously, and that Enies Lobby was built upon it. Yeah. What a good chapter, by the way, though, too. Man, oh man. So good. Anime Dimension became a member. Thank you, by the way. Nakama, saying in chapter 1086, Jupiter's full name reveal, he was talking about the ancient war coming close to the Mother Flame. In chapter 1086, Jupiter's full name reveal, he was talking about ancient war coming close to confirming the Mother Flame was working. This confirms Gorosei was talking about the same thing, that ancient war not ended. Just the assumption that the war hasn't ended. Like the reveal that the war has never stopped, that it's been ongoing and the ancient weapons are still working and out there somewhere, I'm assuming is what you were talking about. Yes. I think you were typing really quick or something and just wrote out a bunch of things because you wanted to get it out there. I think that's what you're talking about. You're talking about the idea that, yeah, the war hasn't ended and that it was alluded to a couple chapters prior to the revelation. For sure. Yeah, for sure. Andre donated and said, I am scared that Roger is going to be called a fraud for not doing anything. I find it very stupid. He literally started the pirate era in order to prepare the next generation. If anything, he's a genius. I agree. I completely agree with you. I don't think Roger will be called a fraud, though, for that. I think, again, if anything, who's calling him a fraud? I think, if anything, it further will prove to the people of the world, right, that he did all of this on purpose. That when he started the Great Pirate Era and said he left everything in one piece, that he did that with the intention of getting people to go find the One Piece, right? To start the Great Pirate Era, to end up revealing the truth about the Void Century. Yeah. I don't think Roger's a fraud at all. Mike Moore donated and said, please entertain my worst One Piece theory ever. Instead of Luffy being Joy Boy was Luffy the whole time. And that EOS Luffy was sent back via a time fruit, a time loop, until a difficult decision was made. That is indeed a bad theory. I don't think Luffy was sent back in time or something, or sent forward in time. Joy Boy was Luffy the entire time. EOS Luffy sent back via the time fruit. No. Time loop. No. I'm not going to entertain that, Mike. I love you, buddy. You're coming through every stream. But I don't want it to be a time loop thing. Please, no. Shout out, by the way, to Shushant, who just gifted 5 memberships in my chat. Greatly appreciate that. Nakama. Thank you very, very much. Greatly appreciate that. Yeah, I don't want this to be a time thing. Yeah. I certainly don't want a time fruit that could send people back. I don't mind the time fruit sending people forward, like with Toki, but I don't really want the another alternate time fruit to send people back in time. Unless, let me entertain you for a second. Unless our means of getting a flashback with Nika or the first Joy Boy is done in real time with Luffy being sent back and discovering all this for himself, and then the user of the time fruit at that point pushing him forward back into time again to meet up with his comrades again. I could maybe see something like that, but not anything in which Luffy is actually Nika, like the Nika of legend, and that he did something back in the past to create the idea of Nika. I don't really like that. Yeah. That's too much like Chosen One for this series. I feel like the beauty of One Piece is like Luffy was just a random kid. He wasn't a random kid, to be fair. He is the child of the leader of the Revolutionary Army. But at the same time, like, he accidentally ate the Nika fruit and set in motion all of this and just happened to be the right person for it because of his dreams and his morals and ideals lining up with Roger. But I don't want it to be something where, like, he was destined all along to eat this fruit. You know what I mean? Like, in one way it was destined. In what way it was destined? With, Charlie bringing up the idea that, like, a Straw Hat will one day, destroy Fishman Island, and all the stuff that the person that will be able to discover the truth will be born in 20 years, all that kind of stuff. And obviously, like, chapter 1 talked about the idea of destiny, but I don't think Luffy really was destined to find the fruit. I think that someone was destined to free the world and discover the One Piece, and Luffy was the right guy for the job. Does that make sense? Do you understand? Yeah, it's like the fruit chose him almost. less that Luffy like is destined to be this great hero. I don't know. I know it's not that much of a difference, but there is a distinction there, and I think some people in my chat understand where I'm getting at. You know what I mean? Shushant also said in the member chat, search about the 8 cities of Hanuman that Luffy is based on. It's interesting and might be indicating powers Luffy has or some he has already. We actually did that a couple weeks ago. We talked about the Hanuman stuff. It wasn't, I don't know if it was during my end of series stream or if it was in one of my previous chapter streams. And if you go back and look through some of the chapter streams, we did talk about that a little bit. And it is totally interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Any other member messages that I missed for people who re-up their memberships? Mike Moore saying 51 months strong. Let's go. Thank you very much. Mr. Matt Johnson, by the way, super chatted and said, I don't know if this was mentioned already, but speaking of time theories, what if the One Piece was actually sent to the future by the time fruit? And that Roger was too early because he got there before the time the One Piece is meant to be sent forward. Now that I kind of like. There being a little message there. I kind of like that. I like that. Where Toki obviously sent all of them 20 years in the future in Wano country. I like the idea that he got there and there literally was nothing there. And it's like, sorry, something will be here in 20 years. That's actually kind of funny. Yeah. I don't hate that at all. I think that's kind of clever. Yeah. But something being sent into the future to keep it from the world government and Imu of that time, I could definitely see that happening. I do wonder, though, like, if Lily was... No, because we know Toki is from the Void Century. So maybe Toki was working with Lily? We know Toki's from the Void Century. We know she has the Time Fruit. We know Lily, during the Void Century, sent the poneglyphs everywhere. My assumption was that she sent the poneglyphs using Kuma's Devil Fruit. But if she was working in association with Toki, could have had Toki send the poneglyphs to the future and spread them out. I could see that happening too. Did Toki know about House Narona? When would it have come up? I don't think it really would have come up. Right? Like Odin went to sea with Roger and the rest of them, but they had other things to worry about. She was sitting with the kids and she was protecting Wano country and she was protecting her kids, and I don't think it would have come up. But she obviously was from the Void Century. They talked about that. So, yeah. I still wonder why Toki wanted to go forward to modern Wano from the Void Century. Probably to escape whatever horrible things were happening in her own time. I mean, that makes sense to me. My guy, Roger, did anyone point out the human sitting with Saul in chapter 1114? Could that be Scopper? Human sitting with Saul in 1114. Let me go back real quick. You're talking about the chapter where we saw Saul under the tree? 1114. Also, by the way, I'm looking on Viz right now, and it says there's a chapter next week. There's not. If you look on the official Japanese website, there is a break next week. So Viz is just incorrect. Because straight from the source in Japan, there is a break next week. So Viz just needs to update that. I think it's just that it still had the automatic thing where it's like new chapter in 1 week because of the last chapter. 114. Where are we seeing a human? To find a message from the past in the form of poneglyphs. I don't think that's a human, to be fair. I think that's far away, Saul sitting up, listening to the message, and then you see on the next panel him going back, saying Dera she, and leaning on the pile of rocks that he was sitting on, or the pile of logs he was sitting on. I don't think that's a human sitting next to him. I think that's one and the same. I think we're looking at Elbath and the giant trees, especially when you look at the scaling of the other one right there, and the other tree, and then I think he leans back on the logs, and we're seeing it from a different perspective. I don't think that's a human sitting with Saul. And I think the little scraggly thing that you're seeing on the logs next to it is not a human. I think it's just the ink of the page. I don't think that's a person next to Saul. Yeah. I could be wrong, though, but I don't think I am. I think that's so, because he even has the same hat. You could see him sitting up and then leaning back, listening to it and laughing when they're talking about the poneglyphs scattered across the world and deciphering the contents of the poneglyphs. Yeah. The tree continues on in other chapters or in other panels. No. You're looking at the tree. If you look at the panel, the tree is not exactly lined up with the next tree. That's another. I see how that could be confusing, though, for sure. And I won't write it off. Maybe there is a possibility. But to me, this reads as the camera zooming in, almost like a storyboard for the anime. The camera zooming in on Saul, moving in, and then him leaning back and coming into view that actually we see Saul is okay. Yeah. I think it's weird the way it's lined up. Mukhtar donated again and said, if Bonnie were to awaken her devil fruit, can she alter a particular part of the surrounding area, like fast forward or backwards? I don't think so. I think it only affects humans. I don't think it's going to affect the world at large. If anything, I think we've kind of already seen her awaken her devil fruit a little bit. And they even talk about that in the flashback, about how quickly she's managing to handle her powers. I wouldn't be surprised if she's already awakened, and that's her ability to make everybody else different ages and stuff too, and not just change her own. X-Sir donated again and said, if the sea is rising due to man-made reasons, who's to say other aspects of the sea aren't actually artificial, like its hate for devil fruits? What if the devil fruits users drowning in the sea is just the ancient kingdom pulling them down because they kind of belong there? I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, it's tough because there's a lot of different theories and ways the story can go. But in my brain, Nerona Imu and Imu being Umi backwards and the Umiwaboshi thing that we talked about not a couple streams ago. At this point, it was a couple months ago. Like last year, we talked about that theory of the idea of all the Gorosei being based on the yokai, and then also Imu being based on the yokai as well. That's like the giant, long, slender figure that's covered in shadow that, you have to offer up like the barrel to on the sea. We've talked about that theory a bunch of times. I feel like, if anything, it's like Imu and the sea are somehow related, and that Imu is like the literal devil, and the drowning of people's dreams, because again, devil fruits are born of dreams, like the drowning of people's dreams is Imu wanting to hold the people of the world down. I don't know. It's a difficult thing to theorize on when we don't really have a lot of information, and quite frankly, it's not like even really interesting for me to theorize on because there's not enough solid information, I think, to put something together that I feel solid about, if that makes sense. Yeah. Where do you think Sengoku and Suru are going, Roger? By the way, I love you. Thank you, by the way, for the membership, Pass the Blunt. Appreciate it. Nakama. Where do I think Suru and Sengoku are going? Let me look at context clues in the chapter. Let's see if we see anything on their boat. We clearly see a marine ship. They're on a marine ship. We see him eating the crackers. Where are they going? Could be something as simple as Marine headquarters, honestly. I don't think... Where was the last place we saw Sengoku and Suru? They weren't present during the stuff with Kobe and Garp, were they? I don't think so. I don't know. I honestly don't know. We still need to talk about why the Blackbeard Devil Fruit looks like raindrops. When you take the Y out of Yami, it sounds like Ame, which is the Japanese for rain. Interesting, the idea of water and the cancellation of the devil fruits and shadows and stuff. That's kind of cool. I never pulled that up before. I actually sent another donation about Garp and Suru, says Mike Moore. Let me check this out. Let me see. Did I miss it somewhere? Oh, here we go. I did actually miss this one. Excuse me. I'm sorry about this. I missed a couple of these, actually. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I missed quite a few of these. I'm sorry about this. Wait a minute. All right, we got to pull these up. Mike Moore donated and said, I think Sengoku and Suru on a ship going to rescue Garp. There's a reason why they're on the boat together. In 1082, they asked, where is Garp? I'm locking that in. I believe you. I think that's probably where they are. That's a good bet. further talks about that thing I was saying earlier in the chapter review and chapter reaction about Sengoku being one of the good Marines by the end of the story. Yeah, I totally buy that. Sure. They're going after Garp. Boss Cobra donated and said on chapter 1016, page 15, saying because it's Wano, was Kaido implying that Old Wano itself is Pluton? We know Pluton's a warship, but what if Old Wano was actually the ship itself, similar to being the city of Zou on the back of Zunisha or Thriller Bark? Great idea. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that we've seen islands essentially also be ships. Again, saw it with Thriller Bark, saw it with Zunisha. I love that idea. I love the idea that Old Wano was none other than a ship itself, and that the actual country was built upon it. That's cool, man. I love that. Sure. I love that. Joker Fallen One donated earlier, and this is the one that clearly I missed. I'm sorry why these weren't showing up in Super Chats. I'll read this out right now. Saying another theory is that York being surprised that Vegapunk pieced her deception out, and that maybe it's due to the fact that she synchronized with her brain. The brain told Stella, giving him the reason to question. Oh. Interesting. That, like, the part of her brain that could pick up on deception was somehow pieced out within the different portions. That's kind of interesting. Also kind of goes along with the idea of Lilith being, like, the evil one, right? And that the deceptive side of the brain is actually inside Lilith. That's cool. That's actually a really cool theory, man. I like that. And then okay, so now we're caught up. Now we're caught up to the donations. Okay, now we're good. Cool. I like that idea a lot. Yeah, that portion of her brain. And so no matter how hard York tries, she can't be... she can't pick up on other people's deception. She can only be deceptive herself. That's really cool. What is also this? Twilight said, I saw some theories about members of Joy Boy. It's like Joy Boy is the sun god and his crewmates are the planets that orbit the sun, like Mars and Jupiter. And they actually betrayed Joy Boy and went together with Emu. That's fire. That's fire. That's absolutely fire, Twilight. I love that. I love the idea that the Gorosei were actually former crewmates of Joy Boy and that they betrayed him and went with Emu to gain power and I love too that then in the future the next Joy Boy, that Luffy, his whole thing is that his crew loves him and would never betray him. I love that. And that he was the sun and the other planets circled around him and then betrayed him for Emu for a taste of power. I love that. I really, really, really like that idea. And that goes along with how scummy we've seen the Gorosei have been shown to be. I love that. Yeah, great theory. Wow. Kaizen actually says, wait a minute, what if they lost them in a Davy Back fight? Maybe. There you go. Maybe Emu had a Davy Back with Joy Boy. Now we're getting kind of crazy. But the theory that they were actually former crewmates of Joy Boy is very interesting. Yeah. And that they somehow mutinied. Also interesting that in 1,000 chapters of a pirate manga, this comes from Will of Dreams in my YouTube chat, after over 1,000 chapters in a pirate manga, not a single person has actually walked the plank yet. That is also true. That is true. Nobody has walked the plank yet. That would be kind of interesting if they made Joy Boy walk the plank. If they mutiny... Oh, dude. Oh... I'm seeing the vision. I'm seeing the vision of the mutiny of Joy Boy's crewmates all being named after planets and them having him walk the plank and drown and die smiling. I see the vision. I'm seeing the vision. I'm seeing endgame stuff right now. The Scabbards stood on a plank. Does that count? That's true. That's true. They stood on one that Oden held up. I love the idea, though, of the mutiny of Joy Boy's crew, the planets surrounding the sun, obviously, betraying him, going to Emu, and then having Joy Boy walk the plank and lead to a next generation. That's actually really cool. I love that. Awesome. All right. Well, I think we have pretty much exhausted this chapter for the time being. I want to give a very quick thank you to everybody who came through to the stream, and also to everybody who was watching on Twitch and on my backup channel as well. So again, I want to say this right at the end of the stream so people are aware of it. Clearly, these vertical streams are working very nicely. I'm seeing new subscribers. I'm seeing a bunch of people finding the channel for the first time now. That's great. But if you're like, man, I really do like the horizontal streams, I like seeing the chat on screen, don't even worry about it. You can still see the version of this stream with the chat on screen by subscribing down in the description below to my second channel, my backup channel, and you'll be alerted at the exact same time that I go live on the main channel with the vertical stream. You'll also be alerted for my horizontal stream. So now there'll be two options for both. So for the people who want to see the chat on screen, who want to see the donation messages, who want to see it horizontally, you can go watch that version. And for those of you who are like me, who don't want to be spoiled by things in the chat, who just want to, experience the chapter with me directly, who are discovering me for the first time, you can watch, of course, still here on the main channel, the vertical version. You'll be alerted for both, which is great. If you're subscribed to both, you'll see both versions. Starting next week, I'm going to start labeling the streams horizontal and vertical, which is also going to be nice. And then also, if you're like, I hate YouTube, which if you're watching this right now and you're on Twitch and you do genuinely hate YouTube, and you're just like, I want to see your stream, don't worry about it. This is also being co-streamed right now on Twitch, and it's the horizontal version of the stream. So we're all good to go. So thank you once again, everybody. But before we end, I also want to give a very quick shout out to my members. I want to give a shout out to my members who always are the people holding down my channel, holding down the streams. I am nothing without my members. My members are the GOAT, and I have to have a very special thank you. And one of the things I put together actually is now a very special end card thank you screen for my members. So I'm actually going to swap on over to that for my horizontal one and swap on over for my vertical one as well. And you can see the list of all of my members on my YouTube channel at the $10 tier and above are all listed down there. I think as well as some of the longtime members as well. If you guys have member streaks on YouTube, you guys should see your member list right now. But once again, thank you so much to everybody who came through the stream. And you guys are saying, what a great experience. We appreciate you, Roger, for putting all that together. It went off without a hitch, too, which is lovely. I'm so glad. See, this is the beautiful thing about it. I'm like Luffy. I'm freeing up the way you guys can experience these streams and experience these chapter reactions. You can watch on every platform. Appreciate it. Of course, there's going to be a break week next week, but we'll be back. Don't you worry about a thing. We'll be back with more One Piece in 2 weeks, and I got stuff cooking in the background in the meantime, because, of course, Summer Games Fest is going to be happening. There'll probably be a Nintendo Direct before the next One Piece chapter. You can look forward to that. I've got a video I'm cooking up right now. I've got more Twitch streams on the way. Really, really great stuff. So thank you once again, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, everyone!